I have never heard a sermon or read an article or really heard anything about Jesus' sense of humor. If I were to construct a personality profile based on everything the church has taught me about Jesus, I'd use words like zealous, compassionate, somber, and gentle. Given the fact that crowds flock to him so easily, I'd probably throw in a word like charismatic. But comedic? Ironic? Sarcastic? No. The Jesus I was raised on was far too serious a man to bother with any incarnation of humor. This last week, the last Sunday of Lent, and our gateway into the trials and triumphs of Holy Week, you know the routine. You know how to make neat little crosses out of palm branches. You know how to walk in an orderly procession, the lofty verses of all glory, laud, and honor falling from your lips. You know how to cry Hosanna to our humble but triumphant King. When I was little, Palm Sundays had a cheery warmth about them. I'd feel quite happy when I waved my palm branches down the center aisle of my church sanctuary. Happy to know that after years of obscurity, ridicule, and caution, Jesus enjoyed a fleeting but heartfelt outpouring of praise from his followers. Happy that the Messiah caught a glimpse of the adoration which is his birthright. If someone had told me back then that the triumphal entry was a joke and that the comedian was Jesus, I would have been offended. In fact, I think I might be offended now. According to New Testament scholars Marcus Borg and John Dominic Crossan, the triumphal entry was not a spontaneous event. Jesus was not the passive recipient of an impromptu adoration. Though worship might have happened, it was not the point. Rather, Jesus' parade by donkey was a staged joke. It was an act of political theater, an anti-imperial demonstration designed to mock the obscene pomp and circumstance of Rome. In their compelling book, The Last Week, What the Gospels Really Teach About Jesus' Last Days in Jerusalem, Borg and Crossan argue that two processions entered Jerusalem on their first Palm Sunday. Jesus' was not the only triumphal entry. Every year, the Roman governor of Judea would ride up to Jerusalem from his coastal residence in the west. Why? To be present in the city for Passover, the Jewish festival that swelled Jerusalem's population from its usual 50,000 to at least 200,000. The governor would come in all of his imperial majesty to remind the Jewish pilgrims that Rome was in charge. They could commemorate an ancient victory against Egypt if they wanted to, but real, present-day resistance, if anyone was daring to consider it, was futile. Here is Borg and Crossan's description of Pontius Pilate's imperial procession. A visual panoply of imperial power, cavalry on horses, foot soldiers, leather armor, helmets, weapons, banners, golden eagles mounted on poles, sun glinting on metal and gold. Sounds, the marching of feet, the creaking of leather, the clinking of bridles, the beating of drums, the swirling of dust. The eyes of the silent onlookers, some curious, some awed, some resentful. It's important to remember that according to Roman imperial belief, the emperor was not simply the ruler of Rome. He was the Son of God. For the empire's Jewish subjects, Pilate's procession signaled more than a military threat. It was the embodiment of a rival theology, heresy on horseback. This is the background Borg and Crossan argue, against which we need to frame the triumphal entry of Jesus. That Jesus planned a counter-procession is clear from Mark's account of the event. Jesus knew he was going to enter the city on the back of a donkey. He had already made arrangements to procure one. I don't think it would be an exaggeration to say that Jesus' political joke hastened his crucifixion. He was no fool. He knew exactly what it would cost him to spit in Rome's face. Like all good comedians, he understood that real humor is in fact a very serious business. At its best, it does more than entertain. It points unflinchingly at truth. the kinds of truth we'd rather not see, the kinds of truth we'll kill not to see. For those of us who struggle to reconcile the role of God's will in the death of Jesus, this story offers a helpful but troubling clue. It was the will of God that Jesus declared the coming of God's kingdom. A kingdom of peace, a kingdom of justice, a kingdom of radical and universal freedom. A kingdom dramatically unlike the oppressive empire Jesus challenged on Palm Sunday. So why did Jesus die? He died because he unflinchingly fulfilled the will of God. He died because he exposed the ungracious sham at the heart of all human kingdoms, holding up a mirror that shocked his contemporaries at the deepest level of their imaginations. Okay, even when he knew that his vocation would cost him his life, he set his face like flint towards Jerusalem. Even when he knew he'd get the last laugh at Calvary, he mounted a donkey and took Rome for a ride. 2 processions, 2 kingdoms, 2 parades into Jerusalem. Stallion or donkey? Armor or humor? Emperor or clown? Which will you choose? I think we're offended because we'd rather make pretty palm crosses and sing Hosanna. We're offended because the real choices are much harder than we thought they'd be. The joke is over. Jesus' choice cost him everything. We dare not join his parade too casually. Amen. I have some good news combined with some sad news. So, many of you might have noticed that Patrick has not been with us for a little while. Patrick has decided to move to Minnesota, officially, permanently, which puts St. John's in a position to find a new organist. So the good news is that Mr. Jeremy Woodard has accepted the position of organist and will now be our permanent organist / music director here at St. John's. You will see him a lot this week, but his official first Sunday is Easter. So we'll be excited, and we're so very happy to have you with us. Announcements. Holy Week. We have Monday, Thursday, which will have foot washing at 6 p.m. Good Friday at 6 p.m. There will be a vigil between Monday, Thursday, and Good Friday. If you are interested in holding vigil with the Holy Sacraments, please let us know. I think we'll get a sign-up sheet here shortly, but for sure, Thursday. Starts Thursday night. And then Sunday morning for Easter will be the combined Easter Vigil Sunday morning service for the new fire, which is, I was having a conversation this morning with one of the parishioners. I read all of the bulletins for this week, and my services were getting confused. The new fire is not Easter. So. Any other announcements? Yes.
Just that we'll have a work day next Saturday. We'll start at 9 and should wrap up at 11. There'll be polishing of the grass if the weather's nice and do some outside work. And we want to have a task list for everyone who comes that morning. So if there are things that you know that need some attention, let me know so we can have a list. So kind of if you see something, say something, something's dirty, funny, or just out of place, needs attention. We'll have a list for everyone. And then following our Easter service, we'll have our Easter edition. So feel free to stay afterwards and bring something.
Awesome.
The club is not meeting this week. We're going to, since it's Holy Week, we decided that's just a little too much. So we will finish up our last 3 chapters the week after. Also here with the dinner. If you did not participate in the book, please still come for dinner as we just enjoy some fellowship together.
So not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday dinner, 6 p.m.?
Yeah.
6 p.m.
There's small treats on the table in the parish hall. If you have a dog and it's small to medium size, please make use of some of the treats or partial bags of things. And nobody he uses them, I'll donate them to a local animal shelter.
Awesome.
Easter lilies. If you're interested in sponsoring an Easter lily to be presented next week in honor or memory of someone, there's a sign up on the round table in the parish hall. Please do that today because I have to get the Easter lilies this week.
So I forgot, this one here is in Girl Scouts, although she's going to be shy and not say anything. We have Girl Scout cookies, the tail end of the season. So if you're wanting Thin Mints, I think we only have like 6 total in our possession. So you're going to want to get to us soon. There you go. Any other announcements? Okay. Ascribe to the Lord the honor due his name? No. Birthdays or anniversaries? No. Okay. Ascribe to the Lord the honor due his name, bring offering, and come into his courts.